Alright guys, welcome to Unit 2 Part 2 review. I want to touch base with you that this year the Unit 2 conic section project we are not going to do, so you can just skip that page. Okay? So let's go ahead and do the review. I'm only doing a few problems. This came from the class. We did it in class. So I'm just going to touch on a few to refresh your memory. Sounds good? Alright, so here we go. Make sure you always read the directions. It says identify the vertices and the foci and then sketch. Okay? I am actually going to do number 1 to kind of show you. So let's look at number 1. Gotta go follow my pen. Here we go. Alright, take a look, and if you will notice, there's a plus right here. So that tells you that shape is going to be an ellipse. Okay, so make sure you know your formulas. And this is a plus. Let me do that in black so you can see it better. Here we go. Alright, since that is a plus. So if you look, you need to find your center first. H goes with X, K goes with Y, so your center is 2, 3. It is always your opposite because the formula for an ellipse is this right here. X minus H squared over A squared plus Y minus K squared over B squared, and you have to have that equal 1. Make sure you guys write that equal 1. That is the formula for an ellipse. Okay? So let's go back to number 1. So your center is 2, 3, so you're going to graph positive 2 up 3. There's your center. Your A is always under X. A is 5, and X goes left and right, so we're going to go left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since there's not a number here, that's an understood 1, so your B is 1. So up 1, down 1. Okay? And now, since it's an ellipse, you're going to connect all these points. So there you have your ellipse. You are not finished yet because it asks you to find other stuff. It says find the vertices. The vertices, there's 4 points here that where you put together. The vertices are the 2 points that is the furthest from the center. So the vertices for these two, this one here is going to be negative 3, 3, and the vertices for that one is 7, 3. So there you have your vertices. These two are your co-vertices. They're the 2 points closest to the center. The formula for a foci is this right here for an ellipse. It is a square root of the absolute value, that means it's always positive, a squared minus b squared. Okay? So in this case, your foci will be square root of 25 minus 1. 25 minus 1 is 24. If this had been a negative 24, turn it to positive 24. And a square root of 24 is 4.9. Okay? So C is equal to 4.9. So let's go ahead and label our foci. Foci is always on the major, the longest length, and you start from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4.9. So there's your foci, and it goes in the other direction as well. 1, 2, 3, 4.9. And there you have your foci for number 1. All right. Let's do number 4. Okay? You're using the same formula as you have up here. This time you are to write the standard form of the equation. So before you start, let's eyeball the center. I think this one looks like it's right here. Okay? So, and how do I check? Same distance going up as same's going down. Same going to the left, same's going to the right. So there's my center. So your center is negative 5, 0. There's your H, there's your K. My apologies. Your A value is left and right. So how many places is it from here to right here? From this edge to the center. So there is your A, so that's a 2. Your B is the distance from the center to right here. And what is that distance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's your B. Okay? So your B is 7. From there, you're going to write it using that equation you have earlier, and you're just going to fill it in. So, x, your h, becomes a positive 5 squared over your a squared, which is 4, plus your k is 0, so I'm just going to write y squared over b squared, which is 49. All that is equal to 1. So there you have your standard equation for an ellipse. Alrighty. Now, you're using the same formula. We're going to do number 5, okay? And you guys can do number 6. There's a video on that. All right, on number 5, you're writing an equation for an ellipse. The 4 things you need is h, your k, your a, and your b. All right? Now, if you take a look at the top 2, do you see how the 2 things that look exactly alike, 0 and 0, 10 and negative 10 are not the same, but 0 and 0. You guys see that? See how it's written in the y position? So there's your k, because center, they share a center, no matter if it's going left and right or up and down. So your k is 0. Now look at the one on the bottom. You see how that's in the x position? And those numbers are the same, and it's x, so there's your h, 0, 0. Okay. Now let's take a look at the other 2, 10 and negative 10. xy, xy. See how they're x? So that's going to be your a, because a goes with x. To find your a, you are going to take 10 minus negative 10, divide that by 2. So a is equal to 10 plus 10, which is 20, divided by 2, which is 10. So your a is a 10. Okay? Your b, see how that's in the y? And their numbers are different, so there's your b. So b, you're going to take 5 minus negative 5, divide that by 2. And if you want to type it, make sure you put parentheses around that. So b is equal to 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So b is 5. Okay. Now you have the 4 things that you need to write your equation. So your equation is going to look like this. X, you don't have to write the 0, square over a square, which is 100, plus y square, because your k is 0, over 5 square, which is 25, equal 1. So there's your formula, the standard form equations for number 5. Okay? You guys can work on number 6 or watch the video. Remember, this is a extra credit for your test. Alright, let's go to the back page and let's do number 8. Okay, read the directions. You are to find the center, vertices, co-vertices, foci, length of the major, length of the minor, and then you're going to make a sketch. Okay? Alright, let's look at number 8. So we got to find the center, the vertices, I'm going to use the letter V. Co-vertices, I'm going to use co-V. Foci, the length of the major, and the length of the minor. I'm going to get a lot of it off the graph. So let's start with your center. Here's your H, here's your K. So your center is negative 4, 1. Always opposite, negative 4, 1. Your A is a 3, so I'm going to go left 3, right 3. Your B is a 1, because there's not a number there. So 1 and 1. Alrighty. It's a plus, so it's an ellipse. So I draw an oval, an ellipse, instead of a box. Okay? Here we go. Alright, now let's list a few things. Do you see these 2 distances? 2 points furthest from the center? There's your vertices. So your vertices is negative 7, 1, and negative 1, 1. Okay? See these 2 points that you graphed earlier that's closest to the center? So those are your co-vertices. Negative 4, 2, and negative 4, 0. Okay. We'll be back for the full side in a little bit. Length of the major, that is the longest length. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Your minor is the shortest. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. your foci, let's take a look. It's going to be square root of 9 minus 1, which is 8, already positive. So square root of 8 is 2.8. Okay, you can type that in the calculator. So let's go ahead and graph the foci. So from the center, 2, 4, 6, not 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, there's your foci, and also back the other way. So what is this point right here? That's your foci. What is that point? Okay, that looks like negative 1, 0.2, because you went 0.8, so it's 0.2, comma, 1. And then the other one is negative 6.8, comma, 1. All right, so there you have the location of your foci. All right, let's look at the next one, and we are going to graph number 10, okay? You are also supposed to find the vertices, the foci sketch. Notice how that's a minus. So it's going to be a hyperbola. So your graph here is going to be a hyperbola. So it's like an ellipse, turn inside out. All right. Start off with our center. What is your center? Negative 3, 0. So negative 3, 0. Now, if you look at this one, notice your H and your K on number 9. Your center would be 2, comma, negative 1. So keep that in mind, okay? But we're going to do number 10. So we go to negative 3, 0. Your A is 1, so 1, 1. Your B is 5, so up 5, down 5. Now, notice it's a minus, so you are not going to be connecting them. You actually are going to draw your fundamental box, just like that. Okay. From your fundamental box, see these 4 corners? These are now your vertices, because they're inside out. So this, what's this point here? Negative 2, 5. Negative 4, 5. Negative 2, negative 5. Negative 4, negative 5. Those are the 4 corners are your vertices. The next step that you graph is your asymptote. So you're going to go from corner to corner. Now the box and the asymptote doesn't do anything other than it guides you on how to graph. That's all it does, okay? So you need to have it on your graph so I know at least where your hyperbola comes from. Don't be stingy with that line. All right. Now from here you are going to make a sketch, okay? Notice X comes first, so your graph's going to go from left to right from your intercept. Use this as a guidance, just like this, okay? I'm going to make mine a little dark, let it go the other way as well. It's going to graph left to right. Okay, and there you have it. And now we got to graph a foci. So for foci for a hyperbola, it is a squared plus b squared. So notice the formula is backward. Not backward, the inverse, opposite. So it is 1 plus 25, which comes out to be like 5.1 maybe. Let's take a look. Square root of 26, 5.1. So here's your foci, 5.1, and it's going in the direction of the hyperbola. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start in the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your foci, okay? All right, so we got that. Okay. We made a sketch, we draw. Okay. One thing I want to point out is this. If you end up, like, see how it's supposed to go wide like this, and you just did something like this on your task, I'm not going to give you full credit, okay? Because you are supposed to use the box and the asymptote to help you guide. So this is no good. So don't do it like that. Got it? It needs to kind of follow. It needs to be broad. It needs to look using those as a guide. So just want to make sure that you understood that. All right. Number 11. Okay, so let's look at number 11. This is from 2.8. All right, on number 11, no, this is 2.9, my fault. What you want to do, the hardest thing for a student is to try to figure out what to do first. So I would pick the second one, that's the smallest. Notice your x is a 1, so I am going to solve for that by subtracting 3y on both sides, cancel, subtracting 4 on both sides. So now all you have left is x equals negative 3y minus 4. If you run out of room on this paper, you have a whole back, okay? I'm actually going to make this a little smaller, so give me just a moment. There we go, so we can kind of see everything we're doing. What do you do next? Well, you're going to take this and you're going to plug into that. Wherever you see an x, you're going to plug in negative 3y minus 4. So here we go. So we have 5x, so negative 3y minus 4 squared minus 4 squared, 4y squared minus 3 times negative 3y minus 4 plus 35y minus 92 equals 0. Okay. Now this right here is the same as negative 3y minus 4 twice. That's what that square means. So we got to take care of that first. Okay. So bring down your 5, parentheses. Negative 3 times negative 3y is 9y squared. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12y. Negative 4 times negative 3y is positive 12y. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Bring that down. Negative 3 times negative 3y is positive 9y. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Bring the rest of your equations down. Seems a lot, okay? All right, next part. You still have parentheses. So you still got to distribute those. See it? But these two, I'm going to go ahead and make it 24y. Save me some steps. So 5 times 9 is 45y squared. 5 times 24 is plus 120y. 5 times 16, 80. Bring everything else down. Okay. And now you're going to combine like terms. All right, here we go. Y squared minus 4y squared is 41y squared. 120y plus 9y plus 35y. So 120 plus 9 plus 35. 164y. 80 plus 12 minus 92 is 0, so you don't have to write that. All right. Some of you will stop right here and use your calculator, but if you don't, this is what you do. And I'm going to actually do this in green. One term, two term. What do these two have in common? 41y. So I'm going to factor 41y. When you factor that out, you have y plus 4. Basically, you're dividing 41 divided by 41 leaves you 1. Oops, sorry. Y squared divided by y leaves you y. 164 divided by 4 is 41 is 4. Y cancels. Take this one, set it equal to 0. Take this one, set it equal to 0. Okay? Divide by 41. Y is equal to 0. There's one of your solution, half of it anyway. Subtract 4. Y is equal to negative 4. Now, you are not finished, all right? But I do want to pause real quick. If you want to do it this way, then all you have to do next is plug it into the original equation up here. So I'm going to move this over. X equals negative 3. Your y is now 0 minus 4. So x is equal to negative 4. You see how when y is 0, x is negative 4? Write that as an ordered pair in the correct order. X, y. Here is your answer for the ordered pairs. Do the same thing for this one. X equals negative 3 times negative 4 minus 4. X is equal to 8. Okay? Write that as an ordered pair. When X is 8, Y is negative 4, vice versa. Those are your two answers. If you leave it like this, I have no idea which X goes with which Y. So make sure you write your answers like that. Like these two. Okay? All right. If you struggle with factoring, when you get to right here, after you add and multiply, when you get to right here, you can actually use the calculator to help you. Just keep in mind, it does not work every time. It will for this, but it will not work if you were to take a different class and your professor wants you to factor. Okay? What you do is go to Y equal, enter your equation. We don't have a Y, so we're going to substitute X. But keep in mind, whatever you have here as an X is actually Y. Okay? Hit graph. You see how it's crossing right there? That looks like negative 4. Okay? Go to second table. Go to negative 4. See how Y is 0? When Y is 0, X is negative 4. So the two answers you have is negative 4. But look down here. There's also another 0. So you have a negative 4 and a 0 for your X. But that's not an X, right? So what you technically have to do instead of an X, you go Y is equal to negative 4 and Y is equal to 0. Do you see how it matches up with these two? Once you do that, you substitute it in and then you'll get it. So if you do not know how to do it like this part, go to your calculator, go find where Y is 0, and that'll give you whatever these variables are. And in this case, it's Y, and you got the two, negative 4 and 0. After that, you plug it in right here, like I did. Okay. See how negative 4, this one is 0. And here's your negative 4 right here. And that's how you get your answer. So you would not do this part. Or if you don't want to use the calculator, you can do this part like this. Up to you. Okay? Now, one thing I want to caution is this. What if you forgot this 12 and you kept doing the math, but you understood the process? I do not want you to erase your work. Show me what you have. Go back and check and see where you messed up. But if you have time, go do that. If you don't, turn in what you have. A partial credit is better than a 0. So I want you to keep that in mind, because if you miss like a negative 92, or you forgot this part, or you forgot to add these two together, that can mess up the answer, okay? So don't erase. Go back and see where you mess up if you have time. Otherwise, turn in what you've got. All right, next part, solving. Number 13 and number 14. So let's do number 13, okay? Because you guys know how to graph that. So let's do a circle. What's the two shape? This one is a line, and this one is a circle, okay? So on my line, I have Y plus 2 equals negative 2x. Subtract 2 from both sides. Y is equal to negative 2x minus 2. Y-intercept is negative 2. Your slope is negative 2 over 1. So down 2 over 1. All you need is 2 points. But you can do 3 if you want, and then draw your line. Okay? Now let's sketch your circle. Center is negative 1, negative 3. H, K. So negative 1, negative 3. Your radius is a 3. So left 3, right 3, up 3, down 3. Okay? Let's connect our circles. Try to make it as nice as you can. Mine's not perfect, I understand. But my answers will be according to what my graph is. So where are the two intersections? Right here and right here. That point looks like negative 1 comma 0, and this point looks like 1.2 comma negative 4.8. Just round it to your nearest 10. All right. Now if you look at 14, when you do 14, it's not going to cross. You'll have to show me why. And since there's not an intersection like this one, just write the word no solution. Okay, like that. So, but let me go ahead and graph 14, just to let you know. Let's do the line first. Let's see if I can move it up, get it out of the screen. Y, add 6 to both sides, so negative 2x plus 6. So, go to 6, slope is negative 2 over 1. Okay, make your graph, make your line. I would do my very best. Okay, now let's go ahead and graph your ellipse. Center is negative 4, 0. Your A is 1.2. Square root of 2 is 1.4. Oh, I'm so sorry, 1.4. So we can go left 1.4, right 1.4, because it's under A. Your B is 6. So up 6, down 6. It's a plus, so it's an ellipse. See that right there? Awesome. Do you see how it's never crossing? That line is never going to cross that ellipse, so the answer is no solution. All right, I hope this helps you guys a lot. Make sure you log in. If you have me 1st and 7th, your test is Monday. This is Mrs. Bolenko. And so if you have it 5th and 6th, it will be on Tuesday, okay? You guys will do great. Make sure you do your study guide. Make sure you submit them because it is for extra credit. Have a great day.